every gardener murders things.
There's some drying out, stuff starting to get yellow, and they're like bent pieces. I don't know if that's one of the cats.
The odds are actually stacked against you from the way they produce their herbs. So don't feel bad if stuff has died in the past. It's part of the journey.
I'm feeling a little Hunger Games in there. You can kind of diagnose what's happening here. I'm Coco Cabral, and welcome to Coco's Flame Zone, where we learn how to train, transform, and triumph in life. Today, I have an incredibly special guest. Her name is Emily Ralston, and she is a certified master gardener. She's going to help me to train, transform, and triumph over my past failures with kitchen counter herbs, all of which I have killed in the past. Emily Ralston is an artist who calls the Pacific Northwest home. In addition to her photography, Emily volunteers as a master gardener in her community, and she loves digging into learning how food grows. When she's not flamenco training with me, you will most likely find Emily pounding pavement as she trains for her next half marathon, sampling all of Oregon's Pinot Noir wines with her husband and dreaming of growing the perfect tomato. Yay, Emily, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Coco. It's a pleasure to be here, and you're not the only one who goes to the grocery store and grabs these things. It's like the candy section near the checkout. They're very tempting.
What is really involved in becoming a master gardener, like especially certified, and maybe more specifically, you know, what would be the commitment in like time, money, and effort?
Sure, yeah. So master gardeners are, I believe they're in all 50 states and in Canada, and you'd have to check provinces, and it's all through your local university or universities within the state. So it is a certified, like if you were to go through it, it's like a horticulture program or home horticulture. So I've been a master gardener now for about, I believe 5 years. And the initial training and commitment, you know, is like a university course pricing. It was 2 months of Tuesdays and Thursdays all day. And like either 6 or 8 hours a day of training. And then we had to do an equal amount of community service within certain, you know, approved community service. So that first year, it was like all volunteering all the time. I think, yeah, like 20 or 40 hours.
Given all of that, because that's a huge commitment, actually. You know, what was that pivotal moment for you that made you decide, like, yeah, I want to do this, like, I want to go for it?
So I've always been a gardener, and I come from a family of gardeners, and the daycares that I went to as a little kid, everyone had gardens. And so, you know, I've been digging in dirt and composting since, old enough to walk. So probably before then too. So, and like going to the county fairs and the state fairs growing up, like, oh my gosh, so much fun. And the master gardener corner and, you know, growing your own vegetables and fruit, backyard gardening. That was always like my favorite. Oh, and like also like the giant, you know, I grew this, you know, giant tomato, like like world's biggest cucumber.
Speaking of pivotal moments, I feel like I have that pivotal moment, you know, every Saturday when I go to Trader Joe's, and there I am, right? There I am looking at that display, and the fantasy like kicks in, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna be snippity snipping, you know, we've got the rosemary here, and I'm gonna snippity snip some fresh rosemary into, you know, my salad. I got these exact plants on the same day. It will be 3 weeks tomorrow. As you can see, rosemary, still good, still happy. that's not a guarantee. Because I've killed rosemary in the past. But I mean, oh my gosh, the parsley.
The supermarket stacks the odds against the grower, against the gardener. So they want something that's beautiful and lush and looks just vibrant and alive. And that's what tempts us. But the way they're doing that is they're putting up to 20 seeds, 20 plants per tiny, 2-3 inch pot. I mean, there's at least half a dozen in there. That's crazy. There's not enough root space. The growers just want to get your money, and if snip it once, maybe twice, they'll figure, hey, they did a good enough job. Yeah.
And we'll blame ourselves.
right, exactly. We take on that guilt. What the heck?
As we prepared for this interview, you had asked me to prepare some larger containers, and you had mentioned that yogurt containers were fine. I cut holes. I think you'll like this. I put wine corks, I cut them in half, and I put them in the bottom to give a little bit more air in the bottom for drainage and stuff. So I did put some wine corks in the bottom, and then I filled each with dirt.
Master gardeners don't recommend having anything on the bottom, or they want soil all the way to the bottom to give your roots the most space.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. I found these little dirt discs, and you add water, and then it like goes from this, which last night my husband legit thought that this was a pack of cookies, and he almost that would have been so good. Not good. I gotta be careful, because if he watches this video, oh dang, right? Gotta be the good wife. I added the water, and it did, turn into this.
We're gonna fill up our containers. You're gonna want a couple containers, and what I have going here is potting soil, which you can make your own actually if you want. It's equal parts compost, and this one has coconut coir and also perlite, which are these little white volcanic rocks. They didn't have any parsley, but they did have basil, but kind of similar backgrounds, especially parsley and basil. Oh, and it's also got like probably 15 different stems, different plants in here. And we're just gonna squeeze the pot and rotate it just a little bit. And you can do the same with your parsley. And I'm holding on to the to the basil. You can hold on to the stems of the parsley to support it. Yep.
All right, let's see. Squeezing and twisting.
That's right.
Oh, yay. Okay, woo. Okay, that was better than I thought it was going to be. All right, cool.
How does your root system look? Let's see. So this is an example of a root-bound pot, or a root-bound plant. It's just circling the bottom, just looking for space, looking for nutrients. It will not last that long as it currently was. I mean, it was, maybe a week or two. So we're going to now divide out our plants. So the goal here, we want a couple per container. I'm shaking off the soil on the sides right now to help kind of release the roots.
So I'm trying to kind of mimic what you're doing. I guess it's kind of like, when you're in class. And by the way, for everybody out there, Em's husband, James, he also comes to class, the flamenco fitness training classes, but he's also using the classes for cross-training for a Spartan competition. But you're doing the Spartan also, yeah?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, in May.
It's like you guys mimic, my movements, during class. And so now I'm kind of watching the camera and mimicking, trying to mimic the separation of the roots. Ooh, wow, you have a really nice clump there.
Yeah, just slowly, gently working through them. That's totally fine. Yeah, I've got about four maybe 5 per in each container here. And then you're just going to want to go ahead and put your clumps in your yogurt container right in the center. Just set them in there, maybe do a little well in the center. Not too firm, don't want to like harden the soil or take it down too much, but just enough space for it to set in there.
Now I put dirt?
Yes, yeah.
I'm gonna put the dirt
like around, yeah. It's a messy sport.
Creative mess. And, like you were saying in the beginning, Em, that little reference to, it's like life, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's seasons for everything. And, just acknowledging where you're at in the growing journey. If this isn't the right season for, maintaining and caring for plants, that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
Full confession, 2020, most people got into gardening, and I just kind of like let the gardening stuff go, and a bunch of plants died. I was just like, there were many factors involved. Mental health suffered, just pandemic life, and the gardening fell off because I wasn't feeling it. So I totally understand if just stuff dies.
This is absolutely fascinating that, so if this was 2020 and you became a certified master gardener before that, right? Because you've been doing this for 4 or 5 years. It's really fascinating. And I say that in a very caring and loving and empathetic way. It's fascinating that's the thing, right? That's the thing that fell off.
Yeah. We also, in normal times, we travel regularly. So I would prefer to have a garden that, can keep itself up for a few days without having me to be on hand. So that was another thing, just trying to harden off some stuff to see what makes it on its own and what doesn't. And I'm
so glad that you found your way, like myself included. I think all of us, right? All of us around the world had to find our way that year, and acknowledge the things that fell off and figure out, okay, do I want to pull that thing back? Or do I keep the things that stayed on, or do I push those off, right? And reassess, right? And
negotiating. Absolutely.
Yeah. And now here we are, beginning of 2022 is when we're recording this, and what are we? Okay, what have we worked on to keep, and we're going to continue to work on to keep, right? So brava for successfully like navigating that process. And I'm so glad that you're back with this. I'm so glad. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's so therapeutic, and it's so much fun to just dig and play in the dirt and kind of part mad scientist, like, let's see what works. It's a pleasure to be here again, growing stuff. It just, wasn't there. But then again, I wasn't going to the stores. I wasn't tempted by anything. I mean, there was also like, so I am looking forward.
Thank you for kind of being so vulnerable with that part of your life. Really. That's just such a wonderful thing. Here we go. Speaking of wonderful, I hope wonderful things. I don't know. This is what I've got with that one clump that I put into this yogurt container.
Great. Then our next step is going to be watering. Room temperature water is best. It can come right out of the tap. And you're going to want to make sure that the water flows through the bottom. And your parsley is going to, it prefers damp soil. Your finger is the best reference point. The first knuckle, like about 1 inch, is going to be, you're going to test the water for your plants. And so the master gardeners say to not use like a calendar or notifications, that you should just be checking your plants. For me personally, I need like dedicated watering days. So I do Wednesday watering days for WW, but it's just going to be based off your plant, and once you figure out what your plant specifically needs. So once or twice a week for your parsley, though.
I set my the yogurt container on the lid. I suppose to capture that water, right?
Okay, so those rules, techniques have changed. Recommended now that the water be able to drip out, but if it is pooling on the bottom, I would dump it out, because we don't want root rot.
So this is what you don't want, right?
Right. Every plant needs light. Water and light are going to be your biggest things. And so with indoor herbs, parsley can require probably a little bit less, but 6 to 8 hours is your general guidelines for amount of sunlight, hours sunlight. And in beautiful Southern California, and it looks like you have a southern facing window?
Southeast.
Okay.
And I would say the emphasis is on east.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're getting that beautiful morning sun.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Lovely. If you want to purchase, or if anyone watching wants to purchase grow lights, I have a couple here that they just are Pacific Northwest, and this is south facing, but there's giant trees which are beautiful, but they block that light. So yeah, so I'll leave mine on for up to 12 hours because it's supplementing. So especially in the winter time, parsley in particular, it's going to lean towards the light. So the leaves the leaves are the solar panels for the plant. So they're going to want to lean towards their light source. So rotating the pots will help even out the growth and ensure that each side has growth on it. Yep, exactly. So rotating half or a quarter every couple days, anytime you water. With parsley in particular, it will grow spindly if the light isn't strong enough. So it's just kind of gonna grow leggy.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. So if it gets too leggy, I have to add more light.
Yeah.
Aha. Okay. See? Super good to know. That's another thing. So I feel like this is so good, Em. Thank you so much. I feel like I got 3 major takeaways based on my own personal experience with, at my level of gardening. My 3 takeaways, and I hope that each person out there, is also getting, whether it's the 3 same takeaways or 3 different takeaways or some overlap or something like that. But my 3 main ones were not doing the drainage at the bottom of the pot and just filling that pot with as much soil as possible, so that roots will be able to get as much as possible. Another one was not to allow the pots to sit in water in the tray after you water. And then the third one was that lighting piece. And for parsley in particular, if it gets too leggy, add more light. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because the theme of the show is, training and transforming and triumphing over something in life, and for me in particular, something that I failed at. Is there something that you feel like you failed at in the past, or maybe was intimidating in the past, that you would like for me to find an expert in and do an episode on?
So, for me, I struggle to try new things, and you just get used to like this is my comfort zone, and it takes a lot of courage to try new things, or trying and failing. And I'm really going to be looking forward to your future episodes, because for me, it's the courage to see you trying those things, and that is what I'm taking away, and I hope to see in somebody else out there being courageous and asking questions, and it maybe not necessarily something specific or topic related, but just being willing to fail and getting back up, laughing, making it's okay to try again, or to acknowledge things when they don't go right. Sometimes that's really funny too. Dirt cookies. I think it's a future. There's something there. I think there's a market. So for me, it'll be just watching you try new things and getting back up again. It's going to inspire me.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Truly, truly for saying that. Over the course of my life, I've failed at so many things. So, this will be a long lasting channel. But like you said, it's always been for me, laughing, being able to laugh at myself and learn from it, and pick myself up, try it again, right? But I think the key to trying again is what we're doing here is, finding that expert and then opening yourself up to, okay, teach me, right? If you like this episode and would like to get notified every time I post a new episode, and there are going to be different topics because, like I said, I failed at so many different things. So I'm bringing in different experts on different topics to learn all sorts of different things so that we can train, transform, and triumph in all areas of life. If you'd like to be notified, be sure to click that little bell next to the subscribe button, and then you'll get notified every time I post something new. So with that, oh my gosh, Em, thank you again so much. So many kisses. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oh my gosh, as always. And thank you to the audience as well. Yay.
Thank you.
Woo-wee. Mwah.
Thank you for hanging out with me and sharing in my passion. And I'm so thrilled that you got your hands dirty, literally.